Good morning. Welcome to the Fitchburg Housing Authority meeting on March 27th, 2025. And I call this meeting to order. It is now 8:34 a.m. Please be advised that FATV is conducting an audio and video recording of this meeting for public broadcast. I ask that if anyone in the audience who is recording this meeting, please identify themselves for the record now by standing and stating their name and city of residence. Seeing none, at this time, I ask that all electronic devices be placed into silent mode. At this time, we will open for a public comment, and I will turn this over to our Executive President, Mr. Boschman, that he might introduce our guest at this time. Mr. Boschman.
I think we're starting for public comment first.
Okay, so we'll open for a motion for public comment right now, and then we will give it to Mr. Boschman after. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak at this time? I ask you to identify yourself by the name and the city of your residence, and identify which item on the agenda you wish to speak about.
Mr. Chair, there is nobody that wants to speak.
Thank you. Okay, so we will move forward, and at this time we will give it over to Mr. Boschman to introduce our guest. Thank you.
If you want to look at page 7 of your report, I mentioned our meeting that we had with Mark and Brianna Delay, who's not here right now. If you want to step forward, we have Scott Rich, the assistant administrator for Mark, Michael Diego, the transit planner, Yazzie Coleman, the mobility coordinator, and Catherine Woodthrow, travel trainer. We had a really good meeting, I think, less than 2 weeks ago about how the housing authority can coordinate with Mark. And we talked about, I'm going to misplace the name of a bus shelter, a bus shelter at Green Acres. And also here at Daniel Heights, we talked about making sure that a bus can get around the circle once we redo the sidewalks and the roadway here. But it was a very good meeting, and we talked about collaborating so our resident service coordinators can get the information what Mark does to our residents in a very efficient manner, because there's a lot that they have to offer. So I'd like to just turn it over to you if you want to address the board.
Like us to stay right here or move or something?
They're very nice people.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Doug, for inviting us here this morning. As you just heard, I'm the assistant administrator at MART, and I'm fortunate to work with some talented people that help our communities with ride services. And, you know, we, as you probably all know, we work with 25 towns and cities in north central Massachusetts. And we thought this was an opportunity, you know, to really get better assistance to the housing authorities, because we have a bunch of services that I think many people don't even know about. And we want to do a better job partnering with the housing communities, because, you know, like obviously, you know, there's a need for transportation. That's the key to, you know, social determinants of health and getting people where they need to go to lead their lives. And, you know, that's essentially our mission statement at MART. And so, you know, we were talking with Doug the other day about some things like where we could possibly put some new bus shelters, where we can do some things for bus stops. We are currently right now in process of redesigning our routes in Fitchburg and Leominster. So by probably this summer, we'll announce new routes. And so this is a good time to talk about if we're going to move some things or go to some different places. Our goal is to speed stuff up, because, you know, we have some routes that have been kind of in place for a long time. But they may take, you know, for example, we have a Route 29 that goes to Leominster from our intermodal in Fitchburg. It probably takes an hour and 15 minutes to complete a loop around. It's heavily used, but it's something that there are some spots on there that have low ridership, and, you know, we're going to be like shutting some things off, and then we're adding some new places to where we've been told by communities to go to because there's new developments or new opportunities to provide rides. So we kind of wanted today to, you know, have a discussion that, you know, any thoughts that anybody here may have. about what we can possibly do, and then we could entertain that and review if that makes sense. I know we have been investigating just in the last few days, putting a shelter, as you heard from Doug, at Green Acres on that like Normandy Water Street location. And so we went there, was it yesterday or day before? And looked at some site spots potentially to do that. And, any cooperation we could get with the city, for an easement or whatever to get that done, that would be appreciated. But that's an example of like how we might be able to help, or looking at where we can possibly shift some routes. But we also have a bunch of services that I know many people, I'm sure, don't even know about, that are in addition to our fixed bus routes. And one thing, our fixed bus routes are, until at least the next fiscal year, are fare free. So, this is obviously the cheapest way, if you can go for free, to get anywhere in our communities. So that is something that we're hoping the state legislature will continue to extend that, because it really helped ridership. We went up 35% in people using our buses, and in part because we did some better marketing, but also the fact that that was a big part of why people started using it a lot more, because a lot of the tough economic conditions that have been going on in the last few years. And that is something we've been doing. So we have, for example, a subscription service that is a monthly ride service that's not free, but people use that to go to work. So they pay like a fee each month, and then they get to go pretty much anywhere from in Leominster to Fitchburg or up to Gardner. And that is something that's heavily used by our communities. We have an evening ride service that takes you from where you can get picked up at between 7 and midnight, again, in those same communities like Leominster, Fitchburg, Gardner, and parts of Lunenburg and Westminster. But that only costs $2. So, that is another, you have to pay for that, but, where else are you going to get a ride? You can use it for any purpose. You want to go out to dinner, you want to go out to the movies, you want to go to work, it's really, it picks you up where you live. So it's not like a fixed bus that, you got to, same thing with that other that monthly ride service I mentioned. That's another thing that picks you up curb to curb and takes you where you want to go for work. So, those are some things that we have. I don't know if any of you folks want to share any thoughts about some things that we do here at Mark.
Yeah, you covered everything really well. I would just also add that as the outreach coordinator and travel trainer, I've actually been here before. I worked with Brianna Boulay, who I think is in here right now, but she assisted me with doing presentations at 3 of the housing authority places in Fitchburg to tell them about those services. And I think having more of a routine of getting into these places, getting to talk to the residents about those services, especially as they change and update, would be really great, and let them know about it. And then also it gives us a chance to get that feedback as it's happening about where the routes are, if there's enough, if they're coming frequently enough or close enough to where they want to go, that sort of thing. So it gives us that interaction with the people that are using our rides.
Yeah, and I would say too, like, we have a lot of things that go places that connect to our services. Like our fixed bus routes, you can use to get to certain locations, but then, for example, if you use this to go to our ITC, we have a Worcester shuttle. So that runs really all day, and multiple loops going down there. So that's another fare-free thing. So if you want to take a bus to go to our intermodal in downtown Fitchburg, you can use that now to go to Worcester. We have a Boston shuttle. So, there's some things that, a lot of people, wow, I don't even know, about these things. And that is something I think if people understood the extent of our services, there's a lot of things that can really help people. We do the councils on aging here in Fitchburg, for example. And that is something, again, fare free, but the people in the senior housing could use that to go to all these other things I just mentioned to connect. So a lot of people they think, oh, we have a van that can pick people up and take you around Fitchburg. But no, but now you can get to Worcester or something, or Gardner, or places that are farther away if you just understand how our system connects to everything. So I think that's something I think we on our end, you know, in cooperation with you good folks, if we did a better job, like explaining, you know, our total services across our communities, that would be a real good thing to partner and do more. And also looking at how we can do a better job in our service, you know, like we mentioned some of the things like maybe you want us to go somewhere we don't go. Maybe we want a bus shelter so people don't have to stand in the rain to get on a bus. You know, so all those things are part of the type of stuff we need to have do a better job. And, you know, we don't expect people to always have to come to us for stuff. We need to do a better job of communicating. So, anything else, you know, you guys want to share?
Yeah, so we've had a reconnaissance survey of the sites at Greenacres, and we've looked at it. And here down the streets, we have Fitchburg, which soon it will be about 30 minutes loop between here and the ITC. And between ITC and Monument Square, Leominster, it takes you 20 minutes loop. So you're trying to speed things up and trying to connect all the cities and, you know, where people can go and have interactions. We did a study and residents have expressed the need to go to certain places. So we are trying our best possible to come up with routes and services to make everybody have access to work, shopping, and other short trip needs and other things. So that's what we are still working on. So when we are able to communicate this and you advertise with other residents, then we can also increase our ridership and make this community better. And, you know, if transport is available within a space, it makes communities grow faster. They wouldn't spend so much time in waiting for buses. They wouldn't spend extra resources on owning a vehicle. They can actually go everywhere for free within their space. So that's how we are trying to move forward.
And Michael provided us the dimensions of the bus that would come to Daniel Heights. We're going to provide that to the architect as they design. So obviously not a big bus, but one that can loop around here. Yeah. So we provide that to our architect for this project we do the sidewalks and the pavement and the parking. And also the new Green Acres building is going to have a drop off for kids and for the public. Once we get further along in our schematics on that, we'll provide that data to you to make sure that a bus can get up to our new admin community building, which is behind Lake Tate Road, and accessible from Canton Street or Valley Street, Canton Street. We also talked internally about having some kind of a page on our website for transportation connected to your services. So
that would be great.
I really want to thank Brianna Boulay, our Director of Resident Services. She's not here now, but she really helps coordinate all this. You've been working with her.
Great, yeah.
I was going to ask that question in terms of our resident services coordinator. Is there any way you guys have a monthly newsletter or something that our residents could get and with these services, you know, kind of like a reminder, a monthly reminder, like these services are, you know what I mean? Something to that effect.
You want to answer that, Yancy? Because you were thinking about doing that.
Yes, we do have one in the making.
Okay.
We should be able to release that probably in the summertime. But in the meantime, we do have marketing materials, our contact information. We can give you actual like pamphlets. We do have individual bus schedules we can provide. And then we also have a Charlie can that can come out and speak to them on additional information on services.
Yeah, in our travel training, we'll actually go, like if somebody doesn't understand how to use our services, they would actually come and go with them if they want to, like take them, hey, I'm going to show you how to do everything. So I mean, we're going to how do you go to find information and read maps, how to do things, and get out. You can go on they'll even go on the bus with you and take you. Okay, now we're going to show you how you can do like stop the bus, you know, and pull the cord down to get off the bus. You know, and so it's like a complete thing. So, because it's intimidating if you've never used public transportation before. So like, okay, well, it's really not once you do it, but we're getting started. So there's things like that, or like if somebody's like someone who may be disabled and they want to use ADA services. Okay, well, how do you sign up? What do you do, you know, to get that approved? You know, you have to contact your doctor or get, you know, that sort of thing. Well, they'll help walk you through step by step so you know, really can be confident when you go to try to do things on your own. Yeah.
Actually, this is very timely because in less than 30 days, we have to submit a funding grant to the state for Green Acres. And we want to include a bus shelter. And so I'll be reaching out to you about that, but including that in, with even a semi-firm commitment from Mark, Bill could very well help us receive a couple of $1 million from your renovate Green Acres. So I'll be reaching out to your office.
Perfect, yeah. I mean, that's a perfect example of like, if we partner together, we can accomplish so much more.
Right.
You know, when 2 and 2 isn't, plus 2 isn't 4, it might be 10
Yeah.
by working together.
So just one other question I had, is there any way going forward, as you work with Brianna, could we maybe do an electronic survey if we get out to the residents? You know what I mean? Some, they,
Yeah,
you know, stay on the
like that
phone,
quite
computer,
often.
any kind of way they can access to be able to say, you know, we go hit this area more frequently than this area, you know, and something like that. That would be, things can be more targeted.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
More targeted services.
And I believe that's how I first met Scott about a year
Yes.
ago. We did a survey, Brianna, for the aging, an aging grant,
Correct. And we were at the other facility that you have.
Cannon Valley.
Cannon Valley. And, you know, there, we participated in the survey and gave some things, you know, for feedback. And, you know, who was the person that started that left?
It was Marcy.
Marcy, yeah. And, you know, she asked me, because I have a degree in gerontology, to participate in the survey to get that done. And so that was something that was, you know, helpful. You know, and we saw the feedback, and, you know, obviously, you know, the thing about transportation, people don't really oftentimes think about that. You know, it's the most important thing. You know, you look at social determinants of health, always like nutrition or something, or medical care, or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you don't have transportation, you can't get anything else.
Right.
And you're isolated and lonely in your community. And without that, you know, it's like nothing else matters, you know, and so much of what we can do is to help people get into all these community services if we just work together to get the message out and what we can do. You know, I think that could be a huge win for all of us, you know, in terms of what we're trying to do.
I guess one of the other reasons why I was asking for the survey in terms of more targeted locations, you could eliminate 15 other stops. If we're going in this general area, say if we're going out, you know, Leominster on Cinema Boulevard or whatever, it's good. The bus is going to go directly there. There's 4 or 5 doctor's offices out there, as opposed to, because sometimes I'm thinking of an elderly person who get confused. I'm supposed to be going here while we stopping 10 times.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Things of that nature. So that's why I'm just.
Yeah, like we're doing something similar to that. We just got a grant that we got approved for Emerson Hospital. Now, I mean, that's a little bit farther for right here, but the communities that are now be able to go there, like Air, Shirley, and Harvard, you know, they're using that to go on a loop, and then it goes to the hospital, then it goes to some of the outpatient facilities, and then it goes back to where they get picked up in those towns. So, you know, but there's very similar things that we can work on. Where would people need to go for medical care in this area, you know, or something else? And there might be something that the residents tell us, like, well, we didn't even think about. That is an important thing. Right. And that could be included and really help get our services better used and more people into that process. We also have, I didn't mention this, we have grants that go 20 miles into and out of certain cities, towns rather, like in that eastern part of Martin. Those are in communities like Littleton, Stowe, Lunenburg, Sterling, Bolton, and so on. And it's, we got a new one that just got approved by the state that goes to here, Shirley, and Lancaster. That's going to start in about a month. So for you, it's a bit mileage based, and this is a cost item. But you can go, like, let's say you want to go shopping at Walmart in Lunenburg. Okay, well, you pay from here, it's $3 because it's mileage based. If you go up to 10 miles, it's 3. If you go over, that's 4. And then it's 7 if you go like 20 miles. But they can use that. And it's, again, the cheapest. It goes curb to curb. So it picks you up where you live, and it's done by taxi services. So that is something to go to those 8 communities that we have. You can go from right here to any of them, and you might want to go to the point in Stowe or something and go shopping at the big mall they have there. Okay, you can do that with that. So again, our services kind of get into many, many things people don't even know about. So,
and even here, I realized the Route 5 goes here almost every hour, but we are trying to make it shorter than an hour to, let's say, 30 minutes. But we realize we don't have a stop sign here, so such notices, and, you know, if we improve the sidewalk in case it becomes rough over the years, then we can better have access to this point. And people walk down the street to join the ITC to go everywhere, Boston, Worcester. You know, that's where we are trying to move forward from.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or? Well, we really appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you so much. I
Thank you.
appreciate you guys taking time out of your schedule to stop by this.
Look forward to being better service.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. We'll be in touch. Thank you.
James, what do you got?
Are we still in public comment?
No,
Oh, because a couple residents came in,
It just came in.
they wanted to say
I don't,
anything.
I don't think we
technically closed it, so if someone has something to say, okay, we're still here.
I don't know if they do, but
We have not technically closed public conversation. I mean.
He just came in.
Yeah.
Our residents is most of the time what we do. So, what we're gonna do, we did not officially close
No, she
public
left.
comment. So at this time, if there's anyone here that wishing to speak, I'd ask you to speak on the item on the agenda for not more than 2 minutes. And please remember that this is not a question and answer session. Your comment is to be directed directly from the agenda and not at a particular person. Okay, thank you.
Any comments?
Okay. No one wishing to speak? Okay, public comment section is closed. I want to take this time to officially welcome our new board member, Miss Heidi Bachner.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Heidi. We really, really appreciate you, and we want to welcome you officially on board
Thank you.
as one of our commissioners here. And I really thank you for taking time out of your schedule to offer yourself for service to our community. Thank you so much and welcome.
I'm looking forward to doing good things. And I've been well received so far, so that's great. Thank you. To do good things.
I had a brief conversation with our new commissioner yesterday, and we're going to coordinate our schedules, give you a tour. And there's a lot going on and both organizations, and we're open for any questions, and once we can, I think a lot of this will help you understand better how to govern us better as well. We look forward to meeting with you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right, we're gonna move on with our agenda. Okay. Item number 4, motion to approve the minutes for the FHA regular board meeting held on February 27, 2025. Do I hear a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Goodwin, seconded by Commissioner Basilio. Any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 5 on the agenda, motion to approve proposed amendments to bylaws. Do I hear a motion?
Before Mr. Chair, you go in there, I have an item on page 6 of my report. It's not an actual motion. It's an acknowledgement of our Director of Housing and Community Affairs, Genesis Ruiz.
Okay.
Genesis, I don't know if she's a little shocked, but last semester, Genesis, last year she came to me and she said, I want to acknowledge, and she Genesis said she wanted to go to college, and I'm an adjunct professor. We talked about what her goals were, and she jumped into it. Her daughter goes to Fitchburg State University as well, and she finished her first semester last year. She's in her second semester, but she was accepted into the Mount Wachusett Community College National Society of Leadership and Success.
Wow.
And I really want to take this time. Genesis is one of she's been here over 10 years now. I believe the housing program close to it. And I've seen her really grow. I think when she started off, she was just a clerk. Now she's running a department. She's going to college, and she's been a tremendous asset to the housing authority. She lives in Fitchburg, and I really want to acknowledge everything you've done, Genesis. You've done a great job. Okay, and this is fantastic. okay? I think she's in competition with her daughter to get better grades. Is that right? Yeah, but, so you're doing a phenomenal job and, you know the community and, you've grown so much. And now this is a big step, I think, in your career, getting this degree. You're learning stuff. And, so congratulations. Now we can go back to the regularly scheduled program.
Genesis is my address.
So, what we're gonna do, at this time, everybody was issued the, executive director's report. So the purpose for receiving that report early is for us to peruse through it. And if we have any questions or concerns when we come to the meeting, then we can, kind of, shrink down the time, for, the meeting if we have our questions, written down well, so we can ask the executive director, without, extending it out, because we were having 2-hour board meetings. So we want to make sure that we try to avoid that. So if anyone has any questions, if there's no, from Mr. Boschman regarding his report, then if not, I can give it over to Mr. Boschman and he can continue on.
Very quick, on page 3 of my board report, we've added a new section. I think a couple of past meetings, we wanted to make sure who was on which committees, and this will clarify this. And as new committees are opened up, or advisory, probably change it to advisory, you can have that. Also include who the commissioners are, membership type, their position, when the term expires. So that'll be a helpful guide as we move forward. If we want to jump to page 7 of my report, motion to approve proposed amendments to bylaws, clarification and creation of subcommittees and advisory committees. That is the motion before the board.
All right. Okay, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Goodwin, seconded by Commissioner Vasilio. Any questions on the motion?
I wrote it, so I have no question. So as we discussed last week, last meeting, our previous bylaw about subcommittees and advisory committees was a little confusing and it wasn't entirely clear on how to create them and the process and stuff like that. So basically we rewrote it. A lot of it remained as it was, but just to add a lot of clarity in terms of the process of creating a committee and what you're supposed to be doing. The other big change is before we had 2 standing committees, which were construction and labor, and we're adding a 3rd standing committee, which is the tenant policy committee, which is to, the discussion so far has been creating a tenant handbook to give every tenant when they move in that just goes over basic rules and regs. Maybe we can put something about MART in there, any number of things that a tenant might want and need to know when they move in. That committee is not about handling tenant complaints necessarily, but really just having a better focus on the policies that we have or should have to help tenants and improve, our tenant interactions. So if we vote for this, we will create the standing tenant policy committee. The tenant representative to the board is guaranteed to be on that committee, just as the labor representative to our board is guaranteed to be on the labor committee. And then we would vote for one other member to join the tenant rep on the tenant advisory board. So that's if we have an aye vote here, if we all agree to this change to the bylaws, it really won't change a ton except for creating the tenant committee. And we will have to vote who will join Janice on the tenant committee.
Now, would Commissioner Spillane be the chair of that tenant committee or?
So in the old bylaws and the new bylaws, there's no real conversation about who's chairing the subcommittee.
Okay.
And maybe this is worth saying. We have 2 types of committees. We have subcommittees and advisory committees. Right now, we only have advisory committees, because advisory committees are two people from the board.
Right.
So there's no chance we're creating a quorum.
Quorum, yeah.
But also, they have no power to bind the authority to do everything.
Mm.
Anything the advisory committees do has to go before the board to be created.
Okay.
We have the power to create subcommittees, which would be three people, which does create a quorum, would absolutely have to follow public open meeting laws, and would have the power to bind the authority. Currently, we don't have any of those, and I think we would really want to be careful about creating one of those.
Right.
So we are creating a tenant and policy advisory committee.
Advisory, okay.
And neither the old bylaws nor the new bylaws have any language about suggesting that there needs to be a chairperson for the advisory committees.
Right.
It doesn't have the policy making weight to need a person who would necessarily be in charge. So
As opposed to a subcommittee.
a subcommittee, we would probably want to do that,
Okay, yeah.
but for an advisory committee, they can't
Okay,
bind the authority to do anything. So figuring out
okay,
an executive for that isn't necessarily important, as far as I'm concerned.
right, understood.
So Janice, if we created Janice is definitely a member, and then we pick another person to be on the board with them,
Okay,
on that advisory committee with them.
okay. All right. Motion been made and seconded, and thank Commissioner Goodwin for bringing some clarity to this item on the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Discussion.
Is it the intention of the board to vote on the second number today, or do you want to wait till?
I mean, we might as well. I don't think there's no reason not to. This
Okay.
was, the 30 days notice for this we gave last
Yeah.
meeting covers everything in it. So I think procedurally it's appropriate to vote.
Right.
Um,
Now, how would they say, would they offer themselves or do?
yeah, we can do it anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
how you end up being nominated is not necessarily hugely important.
Yeah.
I've talked to Janice a lot about what she wants to do on the tenant policy committee, and I'm more than willing to be on it.
Okay.
If people are comfortable with that. But if there's someone else who wants to be on it, I guess we could have a real race here. Yeah, because I want to be on this. And again, this is like all our other committees, where we revote the membership on all the committees every January.
Okay.
So as with anything else, if, people think I'm doing a terrible, we can't get rid of Janice. But if we think I'm doing a terrible job, we can get me out that thing pretty easy. Or if somebody else wants to try it or whatever, we have a lot of flexibility to make different decisions.
On the staff side, I would probably have it as a standing requirement that somebody from resident services always attends. And
Yes,
property
yeah,
management.
yeah.
And this gives you the power to appoint anyone you particularly want.
Right. I would even go a little further, like, I don't know how many resident services they have, but have them all at that meeting, so they all get the same information, unless there's a.
Every day in public housing, you never know.
Never know.
As you
It's an
go by
adventure.
Day Street. you
Right.
think so. Okay, you
Right.
never.
Yeah. Okay, all right, so why don't we want to make that?
I will put myself forward
Okay.
to be on that committee.
I'm not interested.
Come on, Dave.
I feel continue not
You
to
too.
be.
Okay, all right.
We're going to dragoon you into a new committee next month.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
And as a yes from me on.
Okay, I'm in.
You're
I love it.
ready?
All right, okay, Commissioner Go will be the second representative from the board to chair on this advisory committee with Commissioner Slay. Thank you.
Hey, Jane, really quickly, the budget has been approved. It was reverted and then resubmitted. And they added 301,000 and change to our reserve account, so we're over 50%. So very happy about this, and we're just moving forward right now, but very good. It's a good budget. Provides for the admin staff, the maintenance staff, and other improvements. Motion to approve payables for February, March. AJ has the numbers.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Goodwin, second by Commissioner Spillane. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Item 10, motion to approve the Massachusetts DOL maintenance payment standards. It's attachment D in your report.
I think Dave should make the motion.
Yeah.
He's the guy. Motion.
I would actually have Dave nominate.
Oh,
Not-
okay.
Oh,
There could be a potential conflict. I would not have you make the motion.
Then if there's a conflict, so if there's a potential conflict, then should he vote?
Yes, because he, probably, I would say abstain.
Okay, all right,
oh, okay.
all right, thank you. Is that something that we could discuss in executive session?
Yeah.
No, yeah,
I think so. It's nothing, yeah. I
yeah,
think-
just for informational purposes, that we get, okay.
So do we want to table this or do we want
I would move ahead.
to? We don't really have a choice, right?
Yeah. no.
It is what it is.
Right,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will make the motion to approve this.
all right.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Barton, all in favor? Aye.
I put it as a standing motion so the board is aware if they were found out that somebody had a pay raise, why they had a pay raise.
We don't even have to move on this. This happens because the state says it
Yeah.
happens.
Right.
So this is just us confirming we know about it.
Right, okay.
It is also in our union contract that changes will be implemented when we get this from DOL.
Okay.
Page 9, items 11 and 12, I'm gonna go into executive session on item 12. Item 11, the audits and management reviews are moving forward. And on page 11, construction-related items, I have 2 motions.
Item number 13 on the agenda, motion to approve application and certificate of payment Wallace Tower Project 004 and 09713. Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Basilio,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Spillane. Any questions on the motion?
What are we paying for? What, can you just give us some color on exactly what we're approving?
Bruce?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of changes
Money, man.
over at Wallace Tower. Based on what we found as we're in the first phase. There's 3 phases. We're hoping we find all these changes in the first phase. We open up walls, we found valves that needed to be replaced. We found some duct work that was insufficient now there's more work involved in that. So there's actually going to be another change order for the duct work. I'm just giving you notice about that, but that's not part of this one. This one is the valves. There's expansion valves on the floors. There was old gate valves that were leaking. We found inside the walls, they were not dependable, so we put new gate valves in. There was just kind of some highlights of it. Most of it's in the walls in the project. We also had to create a duct work for the it's called the ERV. It's fresh air in every hallway. So we have a duct coming down through all the floors, and we've developed that as part of this change order. So that's providing fresh air to every hallway. The location is what changed. It's like until they opened the walls, they didn't know it wouldn't work where they designed it. And then they opened the wall and said, oh, we have to find a new place. So that's part of this change order here. Any questions on that?
We've locked up in there, man. Oh,
Okay, any other questions? Thank you. Any other questions? No? Okay, motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Motion.
Item number 14 on page 11, motion to approve application certificate of payment for 76 Mechanic Street. Payment number 3.
Can I get a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Commissioner Basilio. Second by Commissioner Goodwin. Any questions on the motion?
should Bruce give us another quick highlight, or is this just paying money that is owed?
Just paying money.
Just paying money, right?
Okay.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Motion.
All right, page 12, item 17, motion to approve application for new units at HLC, net new units.
Okay, motion to approve application for net new units.
So move.
Commissioner Goodwin, thank you.
Second.
Commissioner Basilio. Second. Any questions on the motion?
Yeah, can you?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems really interesting.
So we're in the process of designing the community admin building. The Secretary of Housing, when he came out last May to visit with us in the mayor's office with the state senator and state rep, the then chair, Andrew was there. I think Bruce was there, maybe not. The secretary had said that he would allow for the construction of the building to have additional floors. And we've been tinkering, how do we get additional units? They won't pay for the additional units. So we've been working with the federal VA, the state, the brand new Executive Office of Veteran Services, Unitel, HLC, trying to get funding for veteran housing above the admin building. We had on Friday, I had a conversation with the sustainability director at HLC, and he said, well, Doug, we want to meet on Monday. So I went to Bruce Andrew, we went to the Mass Narrow Spring Convention. I didn't know they were having a resource room. And it was actually very good. We talked about the plumbing issues at Green Acres. I think we secured a couple $1 million on that. But I was told these are the keys that need to line up for them to even consider funding additional units. So I'm working on those keys. One of them is a letter from the federal VA that will give you X amount of project-based vouchers. Others is some help from Unitel on this, and some money from the Executive Office of Veteran Services. I've reached out to a state delegation. I got a contact information for the Executive Office of Veteran Services. Really trying to get in contact with the Lieutenant Governor's office as well. But this all has to come together really in 30 days. And even if those keys come together, that just means that they will review the application.
And the application they would review in that situation is to give us more funding to add these units?
Correct.
Okay.
But what is a non-starter is if I can't produce the operating subsidy. That's the case. And that's where the federal VA subsidies come in place. But they don't want they want something that.
They want to build units that are already rented essentially through the project-based vouchers.
Correct. They need a firm commitment from the federal VA, not just an email.
Right.
And they're actually willing to go 130% of the payment standards.
The state or the
federal. In less than 2 weeks, I'll have a conversation with Veteran Services at the state level to see if they have any money to put into it. So this all has to come together really within 30 to 60 days because we're still in schematic design for the community admin building. We're not slowing that down.
How many units?
Well, it's interesting. We had a vision 10, but then they said, well, if we're going up, why can't we go up more? And I said, yeah.
Oh,
There is an absolute lack of permanent veteran housing, especially in Worcester County.
absolutely.
And to be honest with you, piggybacking our trip to Washington, what we were told is the one area where both parties will talk is on veteran services. I had a great conversation with Congresswoman Trahan's office about this. Not that they can get us any money, but for them to get contacts with us in Boston to try and see if they can get us any money at the local level.
It's a veterans housing. That's what it was built for, and we should add as many as we can.
Right. Yeah. It's I think the cost would be $6 million. It really is not that onerous. It's not. So we'll wait and see. But Unitel was brought in because they may have funds for the overall building. So if you build a building with housing, especially affordable housing, Unitel has a program for that. And I also reached out to the city for home funds as well. And how HLC looks at these applications is they don't really look at how much is being put in by the other party, but the fact that something is being put in.
Yeah.
They're looking for a commitment, a partnership, a long-term partnership that mutually benefits. So you just asking us to approve the application process.
Yes.
Okay.
Keep the board updated. Because this is good. This is time sensitive. I mean, it's chewing up staff time to do this, and I want the board to know that we've been working on various projects, and this is one of them.
All right, motion been made and seconded. Any other questions on this? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
I'd like to table again, item number 18, Brianna had been out for a couple of days and, and I think that next month she made some great contacts at our DC trip about this program. I think she can give you a really good update, for next year. That concludes my report. I would like to say that I want to thank, Mr. Jordan Hughes, for putting together this, working with Bruce on this. When I first saw this, it used to be in my board report, I took it out. It's actually shocking how many projects we're working.
And this is the thing that the construction subcommittee saw
Yes,
a month ago or whenever we last.
yes, this is gonna be,
I think that is helpful. Yeah.
this is gonna be a permanent, report. We'll probably tweak it, add some pie charts, et cetera, but when you really look at this.
Yeah.
And, Bruce and, Jordan really are jumping us, and Andrew as well. Alicia's got a hand in this. Cam takes a lot of the minutes of these meetings as well. There's a lot going on. There's a lot. And I want to thank our construction facilities team and Alicia and Sandra and Andrew when he's jumping in there, and Cam as well. But we're managing, how many projects, Jordan, is it?
35.
35 construction projects.
Now, Jordan, the only thing is shrink it down to 9 by 11 because it throws me off. That's all I read. It's a great report. Make it smaller because it confuses me.
At this point, is there any questions in my board report? I'd like to go into the executive section before our next meeting.
All right, any questions on any part of
Yeah,
the executive director's?
Fitchburg Place.
That is so, that's what we're going to discuss in the executive session.
Exactly.
So, Mr. Chair, we'd be going to executive session for item 2 to conduct strategy sessions for negotiations
Okay,
and also to discuss real estate matters and personnel matters again.
okay. So what we're gonna do, what we've been instructed to do, we can vote to close our meeting, to go into executive session only to return to adjourn.
Yes,
Okay,
that is my understanding.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we will close the meeting and then go into executive session.